question. No, I did not know when I graduated high school that I would be a business owner. I was going to be a secretary, which I was. Let's just go back to high school a moment. When I was going into 11th grade at that time, we had two options. You could take the home ec route or the business route, typing, shorthand, I knew I was not home ec. I was like, no, that's not me. So I took the secretarial and I loved, loved, loved all of that.
Buckle up for a new episode of the S.H.E podcast, the show where we have real and raw conversations to inspire and empower you to be seen and heard so you can create balance and everything you want in your life and business. I'm your host, S.H.E, and I'm excited to walk alongside of you on this journey of being seen, heard, and empowered. Welcome to the S.H.E podcast. Be seen, be heard, be empowered. And I am really excited to be bringing my special guest to you today because I've spoken with her before multiple times, and she's an incredible woman, a pioneer actually in her industry, but not only in her industry, but also in entrepreneurship. And she's going to share with you her journey, which I feel is incredible. She has overcome many hurdles along her way, both personally and professionally, and she's going to share those with you today. So welcome, Joan Burge, to the podcast. I'm excited to have you.
I'm excited. Thank you for having me again.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we have two podcasts. We have the S.H.E and also the Business Growth Spotlight. And she was a guest on our Business Growth Spotlight podcast, sharing all of what, her strategies, what's worked in the growth of her business. And today she's going to be sharing more personally. This is more of a personal, a deep dive into challenges personally that a woman has overcome in the business space. And she has definitely overcome a number of challenges and hurdles, both personally and professionally. I can't wait to hear your journey and your story. You are the CEO and founder of Office Dynamics, but Joan, is this journey that you've done in creating this business, launching this business, and this business has been you've been in business for decades now. So you've definitely seen a lot of ups and downs along the way. Is this something that you thought you knew? You went to school for, and you're like, I know this is my passion, or is this something that happened because of your journey along the way?
Yes, great question. No, I did not know when I graduated high school that I would be a business owner. I was going to be a secretary, which I was. So a funny story, actually. Let's just go back to high school a moment.
Yeah.
And at that time, when I was going into 11th grade, at that time, we had two options. You could take the home ec route or the business route, typing, shorthand, running the mimeograph machine. I knew I was not home ec. I was like, no, that's not me. So I took the secretarial and I loved, loved, loved all of that, the office equipment and the machines and the shorthand and the typing. And I really excelled. I did great at it. So then I went out, graduated from high school. I knew I wanted to be a secretary. And I was a very hungry assistant in terms of wanting to grow and elevate myself and get into those higher level positions as soon as I could, but also I knew I had a lot to learn. So I started out as a receptionist. I did that for a while and then got into secretarial. And then not too far into my career, I was advancing into supporting senior executives and CEOs and presidents, and that was all part of what I wanted, And during that time, I worked in the 20 years, I worked in 12 different states. And that's because my husband traveled. So it was great, though, because I learned everywhere I went and learning how to be a woman in the workplace. And you can imagine in that day and age, not only being a woman was difficult, female, but assistants, we weren't thought highly of. While we were very valued and our executives needed us, but it was like management's here and we're here. So I was working through that barrier over all my years also as an assistant to be respected, to be taken seriously. I'm not just an assistant, I'm your business partner. And then, of course, as a woman, being taken seriously and knowing how to dress. So you were taken seriously at that time, right? And then about 30, when I was 37, I just woke up one day and I thought, I don't want to do this when I'm 40. And not because I wasn't happy, but I had experienced so much. I felt like I reached the pinnacle. But I thought, well, what am I going to do? I don't know anything else. I don't have a college degree. I've been a secretary all these years, but I knew I needed something. And so a really good friend of mine, another female who we knew each other in our community very well, and she said, well, why don't you train assistants how to be great assistants?
Mm.
And I thought, well, when in grade school, I wanted to be a teacher. So it kind of resonated with me. But I thought, I know nothing about training, speaking, writing curriculum, instructional design. I get nervous speaking in front of a group of people like everyone else. But she planted that seed. I was married at the time. We were married, and our kids were little. So I also couldn't just up and leave my job. I mean, we
Yeah.
relied on my salary. We did have expenses. We had debt. We had credit card debt. We were the typical couple, although successful in our careers, but still you had those responsibilities. So I couldn't just up and quit. And so it was a process for like 2 years. What I started to do was just where I was at, the places where I was working, I offered to create little training sessions for the assistants there so that I could get my feet wet. I didn't ask for any more money. I did it on my own time because I needed to learn. I needed to grow. I needed to actually experience doing that and build up a little credibility. So that was my plan, my strategy. And of course, my executives were thrilled, like, right, this person wants to do this and doesn't want any extra money and, teach our other assistants best practices. And so that's what I did for a couple years. And we had moved during that time from North Carolina to Memphis, Tennessee. And so I incorporated that where I worked. During that time, I also found mentors who were already in the training business or the speaking business and being mentored by them and studying and belonging to associations. And so I'll try to make this quick because I know we have more to talk about, but it was a big shift. I mean, mentally to shift from being a secretary to now I have to figure out how to be a business owner, learn professional speaking, understand all of development for adults. How do adults learn, behave? It was quite a big change for me. But again, I found my mentors, my coaches. I studied, I joined associations. And then at 40, that was it. I was like, all right, I have to try this. I have to do this, see if I could make it work. And it was hard. It was really hard. I'm making it sound easy, but it was difficult because it was an untapped niche. I decided to create admin specific training, too. So it was a lot of, like I said, hard work, but I was so determined. And I knew that even though I had to sacrifice time with my family or time with my friends or give up vacations, because again, I was growing the business, I knew someday I would be able to take off as much time as I wanted, earn the money I wanted, really be more in control of my life. And that kept me going, during those years of sacrifice. And then here I am 35 years later. And we're here celebrating our 35th year anniversary this year. And it's been quite a phenomenal journey.
Yeah, there's so much. And I didn't read your bio when we came in and I planned to. So I'm going to share with you listeners like a little bit of background about her that you might not hear talking, but you've got the gist of it from her story right there. But there's so much more that you don't even know yet because I've talked with her behind the scenes a couple times, like I shared with you. And I love 35 years. you started almost at 40, right? Or at 40. So 35 years. Just think about you all who are listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, when you see this amazing, incredible, beautiful woman, she's in her 70s and she is crushing it. And like her lips, she calls her, like in her bio, it says lipstick wearing rock star, red lipstick wearing rock star. And she is the epitome of the red lipstick wearing rock star. And I love that. And just how you in everybody that's listening too, we are taught in today's industry, in today's world, that you need a niche, you need to find your niche and blah blah blah. You didn't have a niche because you stepped into an untapped niche, but you had such a knowing because you talked with the people, you talked with other administrative assistants, you've talked with the executives. They knew they needed training, you knew they needed training, and your passion created a new pathway, which I think, so you are like a revolutionary, you're an innovator, which is fantastic. And that's why I'm so excited to have you on this podcast, sharing with other women your journey and your story, and also the challenges and your wins and celebrations, which we're going to get to. And then your friend, right? There's nobody like another woman who's seeing it, and having your sister who's quote unquote in quotes sister, and you having that sisterhood, which is why I love this community and why I wanted to have this podcast. I want to create this sisterhood where women are uplifting other women and going, you have something that you can help other women achieve, or you can help other people, not necessarily even other women. Had a niche, had a specialty that you could help other women in. But just if you have a passion, talk with people who are your supporters, right? And they're not always in our immediate family. Sometimes those aren't the people that we go to. Sometimes we need an outside sisterhood or outside people that are be like, yes, you've got this and you have a gift that you need to share to the world. And had she not encouraged you, we don't know if you would be doing this right now, right? And your husband, I know from talking with you behind the scenes, your husband did encourage you, but there was also nervousness around it because you were going to one income, right? Your income
Yes,
mattered. Your
yes.
income mattered. And think about for those of you listening, think about 35 years ago. There was no internet. There was no virtual space. This was an in-person, boots on the ground, networking, full on to the full capacity that you needed to go build your business. And I applaud you for being real and sharing that it was hard, because a lot of people say, oh, I did this in so much time. I don't care if somebody says I made seven figures in 7 weeks or in 7 months. There's a lot of background behind it that got them there to create that or whatever they created in a certain amount of time. So I appreciate and grateful for the fact that you're like, it was hard. And there's a lot of challenges that I overcame. So real quick, Joan, before we go further, if you don't mind, I'd like to read a little bit about your bio, if
Mhm.
that's okay.
Oh, sure, yes.
Okay, awesome. Because I think it's important and what's going to open the door for more of our conversation. So, Joan Burge is the red lipstick wearing rock star of administrative and executive assistant training, a powerhouse entrepreneur, and a champion for women in the workplace. In 1990, she revolutionized the industry by founding Office Dynamics International, the first company dedicated to providing sophisticated, high performance training exclusively for administrative professionals. With a fearless vision, Joan carved out a unique niche in corporate education, elevating assistants into strategic business partner. As an accomplished author of 8 books, people, 8 books, professional speaker, consultant, and corporate trainer, Joan has spent over 3 decades redefining excellence in administrative training. She's the creator of the annual conference for administrative excellence, the World Class Assistant Certification, the Star Achievement Series certification and designation, and more than 30 customized workshops, 200 plus, over 200 educational videos, and over 1,000 articles and blog posts designed to inspire administrative professionals to reach new heights. Her company, Office Dynamics International, is a global leader in executive and administrative assistant training, providing the tools, strategies, and mindset shifts that empower assistants to lead with confidence. So whether you are a business owner or you're more in the virtual assistant space, this conversation is for you, because as a business owner, you need to know how your assistants can best serve you and the company, because there's a lot of value there that you don't have those skills for. you need these people inside of your business. And like you do, Joan, you're like, we knew the day to day. Because I know when I talked to you behind the scene, you knew the day to day. You didn't just run their businesses, you ran their lives. Right.
Yes.
So can you share more about that and
Yes, I
the
do.
challenges you faced when you were, growing, when you started your business and launched it?
Yes, boy, the challenges there. Well, one being female first again, that always just is difficult. It kind of works against us, even in this day and age, although it's definitely, we see so many more wonderful female entrepreneurs out there. I love it. And breaking the limits, which is great because that's what we should do. And then, but the untapped niche, the fact that this industry did not exist, like a lot of people who are out there, they are already in these industries they're in already existed. Well, imagine pioneering an industry. And at that time, again, companies didn't want to spend money on their assistants. They didn't see it as an investment. I would get, and yes, going back to in that day and age, we did not have the internet. I had to cold call people. I mean, I would search companies, I would get on the phone, and every single day make at least 10 phone calls. My husband was in sales and that's what he taught me. Or I would go knock on doors. I mean, yes, that's what you did. So it wasn't just, oh, put something up on the internet. It was, like I said, hard work, but I learned a lot through that. That was the cool thing. So one, pioneering an industry that didn't exist, trying to change people's perceptions. So, and I think that applies to any of us, whether you're that business owner, whatever your career is, right? Whatever we're doing, we want to change maybe people's perceptions of things for the better. And so, yeah, I was trying to change perceptions that this administrative assistant who runs your life is your business partner. They're not beneath you. I control your calendar. I can let someone in. I really had a lot of power, and a lot of executives don't see that. On the upside of that, too, on the flip side, I don't understand when I do talk to entrepreneurs today, and I just talked to one the other day, like why they do not have an executive assistant. They're doing things that they should not be spending their time on, as an entrepreneur or the founder or the CEO of a company. But anyhow, so that was another challenge I faced. The untapped niche, just dealing with the stage jitters. Again, just having to speak in front of a group. The first time I had to speak in front of 250 people for just like a half hour. I was a nervous wreck. I had dry mouth. You get dry mouth. That's what happens when you get nervous. You get dry mouth. So then your mouth makes this smacking noise. And imagine that on a microphone. Okay. It's like, oh, I just want to die. But the cool thing is, and I teach courage. This is one of the things that we do teach, is that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's not the opposite. You can be afraid, but you have the courage to get out and do it. And so that's what I remember walking up to that stage. I was scared. I was nervous. I haven't done, I didn't do that. But I had the courage to get up and I had the courage to work through that awkwardness, and be uncomfortable because I knew that's what I had to do. Like my goal wasn't so much to be a speaker. My goal was to help assistants, to improve the quality of their work life, to help them gain the respect they deserved. Speaking was the vehicle to get to them and their executives, because I also work with executives. So, getting through all of that, it took a while. And then I have a big gap in my calendar before I'd be on a stage again. It wasn't like I was doing it every day. But then as it grew and I did it more and more and more, I mean, now like, oh, I love the stage. It's my home. I miss it when I'm not on it. I think that's an interesting piece for all of us to really face that fear and lean into it. Don't let it make you shy away from what you want to accomplish, whether in personal life or in your professional. I risk moving around, risk coming out to Vegas. I'm like, lean into that because that's what I want to do. That was my dream, and if it doesn't work out, I'll go back. I'll go somewhere else. And that's, I know, a separate conversation. Those were the types of obstacles. And then I almost closed my door 6 times over 35 years. And I think this is really where my personal story becomes very poignant because they were very difficult. They weren't just your little barrier, little obstacle. My husband had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Oh my gosh, 18 years ago already.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the really first big shock in our life because while we had difficulties, over life because you do, financial, kids, whatever, but nothing ever like that ever hit us. And so that was my first horrific experience. And knowing pancreatic cancer is not curable, it's a death sentence. And yes, they are working very hard to extend lives, but that whole journey with him, his 3 years, his battles, his pain, is me being the full-time caregiver, plus running my business, plus taking care of the house and the dog and the yard, and having to juggle everything in life. So that was very difficult. And that's where I learned to put on my red lipstick, was during that time. I wore red lipstick a lot, but where red lipstick on became a mantra for me. And so when I thought I wanted to just run away to an island and not come back till it was all over, one of my good friends who I work with a lot had messaged me or emailed me, because we didn't have texting really, and said, put on your red lipstick. And so I was like, wow, that woke me up. And I was like, red lipstick on, put on your big girl panties and get to work.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, and so ever since then, it's been my mantra, red lipstick on, red lipstick on. I even, I'm working on a book right now for that I'm going to call Red Lipstick On. It became an actual brand that we had our own red lipstick for a while. I had t-shirts. I mean, it grew. But it's that mantra of feeling empowered, or that I can conquer anything, even if it's just even coming into my workday. And I know I have all these things to do today and I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's just red lipstick on. What does that represent? Right? Tackle it, do it, that type of thing. Or maybe, when I'm going into work with the Schwab people, or I'm going to the banker and I want money, put on that red lipstick. Okay. And even if people don't wear red lipstick, a lot of women are not comfortable with red lipstick. It's the idea of what it represents.
Right.
And that's where red lipstick started to evolve. And then when Dave died, it was just a very horrific ending. But so a year after Dave died, then I wrote a book. I'm just going to tell you quickly about it because I'm in this mode right now with the book. And it's give yourself permission to live a big life.
I love that.
I had to recognize that. I went through now being a widow after I was married for 34 years. I was still young. I was a young widow. And so what did all that mean to me about living my big life and then moving forward? And so the book itself is a memoir type book. And it's a book of, inspiring women through my story and my journey. And it's all about faith, courage, taking risks. But, and then, so I thought things that were going to start to settle down. And then I don't even think you know this story, Heidi, but then my son went through a really bad time where he was trying to get custody of 2 kids. He was going through rehab himself for alcoholism. And I put him in a place here in Vegas, 30 days, a beautiful home, holistic healing approach. So just when I thought I was done, boom, now I'm helping him and his 2 kids for like 3 years of going through, getting attorneys, all this stuff. And then I thought, okay, life is okay. I could breathe now. And then in 2014 is when I found out I had a rare, massive skull-based tumor. And that was the biggest. That was probably the biggest of everything that happened to me, and very, very scary. And I was very sick. I had bacterial meningitis, which was really making me very sick and close to death. it was weeks in the hospital and nightmares and intensive care psychosis and thinking I was going blind and I was dying and I was left to die at the basement of the hospital. I mean, just awful. And, but thank God, for some reason, I was still meant to live and continue on. And it took quite a while to heal, but thankfully, too, with the support of an amazing family, friend, I built my friend network for so many years and got through that. Took quite a while. And then a year later, I found out I had to have the open heart surgery because the bacterial meningitis seeded on my heart. And so I thought, oh, I just freaked. I just freaked. I called my pastor. My pastor was on my journey this whole time. He was my hotline. Like, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
I am losing it. And I definitely don't want my chest cut open. So anyway, he talked me down off the cliff, all my friends. And then I focused on, I think a key for women, you have to then focus on doing your research, getting the facts, do your homework, when it comes to yourself on whatever it is, even if it's hiring a serviceman to come to your house, because we get taken advantage of as women, especially if they know we're single or, we're by ourselves. Because I've had that happen to me. And so then I went to Cleveland for the open heart surgery. It went great, but a week later, I had fluid buildup all over my heart. And then I had to deal with that, and they punctured my heart by mistake. And so then I was back in with open surgery. And it was just like never ending. And that took months and months and months to recover on my own at home. But during this whole time, we're trying to keep the business going.
Right.
Fortunately, I had a good team. I had built and trained other speakers.
Right.
So I had positioned myself a long time ago for that. And then, life's moving along great, and then 2020, the pandemic hits. I had to totally pivot my business because everything was on-site training. Now I had to convert everything to virtual. How do I keep my doors open? How do I not have to fire people? Making sure everybody could get their salary and I didn't take one for a while. So it's just, it's this crazy journey all the time, but I've just grown so much through all of that and learned so much. And I had read a very long time ago when I started on this path of all these things, right? And I love Joel Osteen. I read all his books, but there was something in there that said these were character building moments. And that's always resonated. So whenever things happen like that, I'm like, okay, character building, what do I need to develop right now in myself? Yeah. And a lot of times it's patience, because I'm not a patient woman. I'm not a patient person. I want it now. And so I keep getting refined in the area of patience.
Yes, God will keep, or God, universe, whatever you believe in for you listening, depending on what you believe in, will give you what you need. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you need. And for Joan, yes, it's probably given you, it makes you pause and it takes control out of your hands where you are forced to practice patience and just kind of give it up and say, you know what, I release control. Because sometimes when we like to have control over everything, that's the biggest lesson we need to learn. So that's when it swoops in and it creates our biggest fear, which is loss of control or whatever that fear is for you listening. And you're given the gift and it will keep repeating itself, unfortunately, until we learn it. And sometimes we're not going to learn it. It takes us a little longer to learn it than others. I'm not saying, Joan, at all. That's why you went through everything you went through. I don't think you'll learn patience over and over and over again. My heart goes out to you for everything that you've gone through. And it's giving you the opportunity I don't know if opportunity is the right word, but I don't know if beauty is the right word because I don't want it to sound less than what you've gone through, but to share your journey and to let people know, like, yes, you're going through stuff right now. Like, I know I'm going through stuff right now. But you know what? You need input. We all hear as women, oh, you need to pick up your big girl panties, right? That's not the same as saying something like put on your red lipstick. Like, I resonate with that so much. You're seeing me right now. I don't always wear this. You saw me on one podcast. I was more professionally. I love my off the shoulder tops. That makes me feel feminine, and I'm very masculine driven. I'm a doer. I'm a single mother. We got to do what we got to do to keep the bills paid. We got to keep going forward. But you've also got to bring in the feminine and what makes you feel feminine. And for you, it's red lipstick. It makes you feel like
Yes.
you've got that spunk in you. For me, throwing on like a off the shoulder top makes me feel like, okay, I'm not so, I don't know. I mean, I love my nails, I love my eyelashes, but at the end of the day, that doesn't make me feel like what it does when I put on a pair of heels with jeans and a off the shoulder top. I just feel,
Yeah.
or I get a little dressed up and I'm wearing my sparkly stuff. I'm like in my bling.
I,
That's where I
I
feel
love
good.
bling.
I
I do
love
love
bling.
bling.
I love my bling. So my nails can go, right? I can paint my nails. I can put on fake lashes. I don't have to go get them done professionally. I can curl my hair. Like I can spray on some gray cover up, right? But to throw on some pleathery pants or leather pants, like whatever it makes me, and some blingy heels and a blingy purse and an off the shoulder top, I feel really good. Some women love their dresses. I love
Yes.
my leggings and my bling heels, and I feel very sexy and confident in that. So and for you, it's the red lipstick. So all of those things have brought you to this place where you're like, I know what makes me feel good about myself. Your hairstyle is very beautiful and very powerful at the same time. And I'm sure it makes you, it's also great branding, right?
Oh,
Because
right.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you are all about, because I know I've talked to you, you're all about when you show up especially as an executive assistant or as a team member for a team, like how are you showing up in your world? Are you showing up in a t-shirt and sweats? Are you showing up with your hair done, your makeup on, right? That's important. It's
Yeah.
a different story. Yes, women can, and there's a whole thing going on now, Joan. I don't know if you know, a movement of like no makeup. But at the same
Yes.
time, I'm not for that. I believe if that makes you feel good, great. But it also is all about presentation. At the end of the day, I will never say I will always go back to that mantra of first impressions matter.
Mhm.
And when you're showing up and you're showing up in your best stance as best as you can in that moment. And sometimes we're not in our best moment, but we're doing it, we're showing up as best as we can in that moment. That resonates. It may not be your best, but it's your best in that you can in that moment, depending on what's going on in your life. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but that's a lot of the takeaways I got from you. I'm so grateful for you sharing your story and your journey. I wish we had more time because I know you're on a really strict timeline today, because we could go so much more into so much more. But I do want you to share. So for you listening, there's so much more about Joan. She's written, what was it, 8 or 9 books, Joan? You shared one with us. Can you repeat the name of that?
Oh, give yourself permission to live a big life.
Give yourself permission to live a big life. So go grab that. I'm sure it's on Amazon, right,
I
Joan?
think it is. I think it
Okay.
is with the other books. Is it on
Okay.
ours? I don't know. I do know it's on our officedynamics.com site.
Okay. So go
And you'll get
there.
it really fast, faster
Yes.
than Amazon, because we actually have to ship books to Amazon, then they ship them to you. So
Okay. So go to
if you want it
officedynamics.com. Yeah.
fast, yeah.
Go grab that book. Go to officedynamics.com. That's the place to go. Also, Joan, where can they find you and connect with you? Because I know there's going to be women that want to reach out to you and if you're listening, when you listen to this, please reach out to Joan. She's amazing. She's a powerhouse. She's been there, done that. There's so much more that I want to talk to her about. Like, what did she go through with her husband as far as starting a business? Because that's an important piece. Having
It
support
is.
when you're launching
Yeah,
is an
he was
important
not a
piece.
fan at first. I think that's a whole other
That's a whole
conversation
nother
that we have to
conversation.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, he was happy for you. He wanted you to do what you wanted to
He
do.
did. And then when
And
I said,
there
yes,
are
I'm going to
also,
do it, he was like,
yeah,
what? What? You're not going to bring home a paycheck anymore. We're not going to have
yeah,
your benefits anymore.
yeah. Then the fear kicks in. And I didn't talk to you about fear and
Yeah.
overcoming fear with all of that, but there's a whole more story there. We might have to bring you back, Joan. We might have
Okay.
to bring you back. So,
I know.
but how can the ladies connect with you?
They could go to my Facebook page. I have two. So my personal is Joan Burge Live a Big Life. So I use that more for personal interaction. And then there's the Joan Burge, what do I have? Oh, our Office Dynamics Facebook page
Mhm.
is a great place too. And then LinkedIn, I'm definitely Joan Burge on LinkedIn, my personal profile. And then we always have the business side too, Office Dynamics, where we really post a lot of great educational, articles and different things and videos and all of that. So
Yeah, real quick, because we're gonna have
yes,
we have all the
I
links.
know,
So
and I'm sorry, our
no.
time got short
Burge.
today.
So Joan
Yes,
Burge. Google her. You
yes.
can find her on all the social media. But I do want to ask you. I know that you've been recognized lately for something. So what are some of the perks of going through all you've got? Like you've gone through a lot.
Oh
So
gosh,
what are
yeah.
like? Is there something like some?
Oh,
What
yeah. Well,
what are the pivotal moments in your career that you can share
well,
after
there's two
hurdles?
I could share right now, two
Okay.
that were like that really, I mean, there were many, 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 but the two that I just can't not forget is when Walt Disney World hired me in 2018 and being able to work with them and go to Orlando and be right there on their property at their corporate university was it was magical.
Magical,
I
yeah.
was in the Magic Kingdom working. And it was like so hard to decide, am I really working? Because I feel like I'm on vacation and there's hundreds of thousands of business people around and visitors and children. And I'm in the midst of all of that. But it was the most incredible experience in my career ever. The way they treated me, the whole presence, all the work we did. And for 6 months, I got to go there every month, met the most incredible people, and they treated me like a princess, like a real princess. It was amazing. Never ever forget my friends at Disney. And then recently, this was so wonderful to be recognized after 35 years. Las Vegas, every year, Vegas Inc. and Greenspun Media do a very special C-suite awards, and there are only 11 honorees out of this whole city of 2 million people.
Wow.
And I was chosen, and
Yay!
on the front cover,
One of
and
two
the
women on the
magazine
cover.
gets
Yeah.
distributed all over the city. And
Amazing.
they had a beautiful event for us on March 4th, beautiful event. And the whole thing just was made me think about, okay, after 35 years of all this hard work, I didn't not only be known as the pioneer of the admin industry, but being recognized as a business leader, a C-suite executive. That really meant the world to me.
Congratulations on
Thank
that
you.
award. I'm so happy for you and congratulate you and celebrate you in this for that. And I just want to for you listening, like, if you're watching on YouTube, you just saw the cover that she showed. And I think from quick memory, there was 6 people on the cover out of the 11,
Yes.
yeah. And she was 2 women out of all of those people, which means there was 4 men on that cover with her and another woman. So women are still making progress. We're still making strides. And Joan is a pioneer for women, for you, and for anyone in the admin space. So if you are a business owner, executive, corporate, whatever you're doing, and you know you need support with the admin space, she will support you in training and bringing that to your team to provide the best so your team can support you in the best best way they can, because at the end of the day you want to grow your revenue, and there's nobody like that's going to grow it better than having that core supportive onboard team that is working hand in hand next to you and with you as a unit, not as you here and them here, right? We want to bring
Yeah.
everybody together cohesively. Second of all, if you are in the admin space, whether it's virtually, physically, then you want to reach out to Joan, because she has training that can support you in helping you let your executives know that they need this and how you can provide value so that they see what value is there. Joan, I'm going to let you go because I think we're over time. Nope, we're almost
Yes.
there. Okay,
Thank
I love
you
you. Thank
so
you for
much.
being
I look
here, and I'll
forward.
see
This
you
is
soon.
fun. I could
Okay.
talk forever with you.
Thank
Okay.
you for joining
Bye.
us in the B She podcast. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.